Nigel Wilson, you are Head of Development at BJSS, who are sponsoring the Agile Business Conference, and you're going to be talking in your session about enhancing the governance experience. Now, you've worked with a large number of organisations, and in your experience, how are Agile approaches working in the context of governance generally?
I think we find one of the biggest challenges is in adopting to Agile governance is people getting used to the frequency and intensity that's required to manage an Agile project and program well. In traditional governance frameworks, typically the project lifecycle passes through a number of defined gates or phases that move the project from one stage to the next. Clearly, with Agile delivery, you're going through the full lifecycle on a regular and repeatable basis. This takes some time to perhaps adjust to, but we find that once that becomes part of the operational rhythm and running of the program, people see a lot of benefit from that. They see business value being gained and delivered on a regular and repeatable basis. So there's clearly a lot of useful things that can come from that. I think one of the other things we see also is the need not only for the traditional management governance, people understanding when they're releasing funds and when benefits have been realised, but also the need for good, strong technical governance, particularly in a programme that might consist of many disparate work streams and projects. It's essential that technical governance plays a part of that as well, and it's something that can often be overlooked or forgotten, perhaps perceived as not necessarily as important if those technical decisions have been devolved to a lower level in the organisation.
Okay. Now, some organisations do struggle when it comes to governance within an Agile project or portfolio. What do you think are the main factors that need to be addressed from an Agile perspective?
I think to start with, some of the areas are the typical common sense stuff that you might cover up on any governance structure. So I think having clear direction, a clear set of programme goals articulated well for the delivery teams to take away and work against is key. People need to understand the constraints in which they're allowed to operate in, understand the level of empowerment within individual delivery teams, and what and when needs to be reported back to governance and what the tolerance is that they're working within. So I think that's kind of a key part of that. And then I think the other thing is, as I mentioned in the earlier question, people getting used to the rhythm of an Agile delivery, the fact that we're delivering working software on a regular basis, and what that means in terms of going through the full software lifecycle on a rapid and repeated basis, rather than passing through defined gates, moving the project from one stage to the next.
So what questions need to be asked at the outset?
I think really from the start you need to establish who the key stakeholders are. You need to know not only who can help you in the delivery in terms of providing resources, funds, decisions, but also who needs to be on board within an organisation, who has the power not only to enable the programme to succeed, but also potentially to block the programme if they're not consulted and involved and informed at the right stages.
So once a new governance model that supports Agile delivery has been introduced within an organisation, do you generally observe an instant improvement in project management practices, or does it take some time to see the results?
We find that it does take a little time. I think there are some things that will come through fairly quickly. I think using an Agile delivery method where people can start to see benefits being delivered on an incremental basis builds confidence in the approach. People will start to see that coming through fairly quickly. But like any change in an organisation, it does take time for people to adopt that, to adjust to that, to understand the ways of working, and to get on board, frankly, with what might be perceived as a change to way of working and making decisions in a slightly different way. We like to support that with what we're doing with our BJSS Enterprise Agile methodology in terms of providing really very strong transparency in terms of what's coming through from delivery projects, making effective use of metrics, and providing the level of detail that allows people to make wise decisions during those governance sessions and forums.
Okay, well thank you, Nigel. We look forward to hearing more in October.
Thank you.